Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, did they do enough in the draft to dethrone the Chiefs? We ask this question every year, and every damn year the answer is no. No, and somebody important gets fired. Now, the Broncos were the last non-satanic team to win the division all the way back in 2015. Last season, though, we saw the foundations for success take hold in Denver and LA. The Raiders made sweeping changes and then hired the only available 73-year-old head coach who still has the spirit of a 24-year-old. Which is much different than the 73-year-old head coach who's dating a 24-year-old.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there.
Belichick has never looked more homeless, huh?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Today, we will talk about it. Football. I really think the Raiders had a nice offseason. Geno Smith solves their biggest problem, and I now believe the path to the postseason got much more difficult for the Chiefs in the West. I am Brandon Perna. This is That's Good Sports, and we're breaking down the AFC West's drafts. Over 10,000 of you have subscribed this last week. It's insane. Today's episode, sponsored by Underdog. Now that the draft is officially concluded, you can enter Underdog's Best Ball Mania 6 tournament for this upcoming NFL season. That's a fantasy draft where they use your best possible score every week, and the top prize this year is $2 million. The best ball tourneys are the entire reason I got into Underdog. More importantly, we are now just 123 signups away from my $60,000 bonus. We had 115 of you sign up last week alone. Underdog is giving me a little more time to hit this goal, so let's make this final push happen, and I'll shut the fuck up about it. Use my code TGS or That's Good or the link below. Download the app, make your first deposit, and make your first play. You gotta make your first play if you've used my code, and I suggest you enter one of their best ball tournaments. Big surprise, the Chiefs have been awarded the best consensus draft grades, which was cultivated by Renee Bugner, who sourced 24 report cards for these consensus grades. When you are a perennially good team with a Hall of Fame quarterback and head coach, it is incredibly difficult to fuck up your draft. The Chiefs could draft a giant pile of manure, and everyone would be like, just wait until you see the beautiful flower that emerges from that stinking pile of cow dung shit. What's different this year, though, is the Raiders are right below them with the 6th best consensus draft grades. The Raiders are getting so much draft love, it might reanimate the corpse of Al Davis, where presumably he'll soon be dating Belichick's ex-girlfriend.
You're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming.
The Broncos and Chargers are down at the bottom 10 of the consensus grades, and I respectfully disagree with the dumb fuckheads who said that. Respectfully, of course. Round 1, though. Everyone's a winner. The Raiders got the second most dynamic player in this entire draft in running back Ashton Jeanty. Fuck off. The Chiefs selected Ohio State tackle Josh Simmons, and the Chargers drafted running back Omarion Hampton. Also fuck off. Now, I hate to say this, but I think every team got a great player in the first round. Each rival team got a consensus top prospect at a position of their need. Hampton and Jeanty scare the bejesus out of me because those were two players we thought maybe the Broncos would target. The Chiefs, though, got a tackle who would have been a top 15 pick had he not torn his patella tendon last year. When you are a contender before the draft even starts, you have the luxury of not worrying about an injury to a premier player. Simmons can start the season on the PUP list if needed, and KC won't miss a beat.
I think he's got all the talent in the world, man.
As great a value pick as that was, though, the Broncos had the most interesting selection in Texas corner, Jahdae Barron.
He was my highest rated player there, my top corner, the first corner to come off the board here.
Now, I don't think anyone was expecting the Broncos to take Barron at 20. And if you say you were, you're a dirty little liar, and you should be dipped in holy water until your soul is cleansed. The Broncos Seemed like they wanted to move up for Genty if the Raiders hadn't drafted him, but they may have also been eyeing Colston Loveland. Barron just so happens to play the same position as the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain. The good news is, you can never have too many corners. I think Jerry Jeudy versus Levi Wallace proved that last year. Barron is tough, versatile, and a ball hawk who's going to start in the slot but has the ability to play outside as well. This move kind of reminds me of when Denver took Bradley Roby in 2014 when they had Aqib Talib and Chris Harris on the roster already. The Chiefs' offense has learned to make a living with short, quick passes and, of course, screens. Barron is a short pass destroyer built to look the devil right in the eye and not waver.
The one that makes the little booby dolls.
My favorite take, though, on Barron came from Bengal, known draft dude and Texas football fan.
You can't run screens. If he's in the slot, if you're going to run a bubble screen, it's over. Swing screen to the running back, it's over.
The fact that he wants to play against the run also had me sold.
Just with always being in, you could be in the run fit, you could be in the pass fit.
Yeah.
You know, corners sometimes you cannot be in the run fit. But even when you're at nickel, even run away, I still have to shove the box, things like that.
And even our friend Brett Coleman had a nice chat with Barron.
He taught me how to read red light. He taught me how to read the quarterback's drop, the quarterback's progression, the O-line, if they're breaking the glass, if they're staying high.
Assuming he escapes the Coleman curse, I love that Denver was the only team that added a strength to a strength in the first round. In round 2, the Broncos select UFC running back R.J. Harvey.
And I absolutely love this guy. You talk about juice, you talk about the ability to get skinny.
The ability to get skinny? I'm calling RJ Ozempic from now on. The Broncos traded back twice in the second round, swapping roughly 13 to the power of 12 draft picks with the Panthers and then the Lions to ultimately select RJ Ozempic. I think RJ was initially a perplexing pick because he wasn't on, a ton of mock drafts. With each passing day, though, I hear more and more great things about Harvey from people who actually watched him play ball. Inevitably, his production will be compared to Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton. But if Sean Payton loves his vision and patience to allow his blockers to set up, I trust in Sean. Harvey averaged 6 yards per pop all 3 seasons he played at UCF. Trevor Sikkema called him the Bucky Irving of this draft. So did Chase Edmonds.
He reminds me of someone I played with last year, Bucky Irving.
Bucky put up 1,500 yards of offense last year in Tampa, just like Harvey had rushing at UCF. He had 32 runs over 15 yards last season, which trailed only Travion Henderson. His 6.8 yards per carry were the best in the Big 12. Omarion Hampton was, oh God, how fucking big is Hampton? Christ almighty. Is he a giant? Either this is some Lord of the Rings trick photography or Hampton is the first 7-foot running back in NFL history, because Harbaugh is 6'3", guys. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Hampton averaged 5.9, Genty 7. Based on production, RJ fits in with those guys. Denver had the least explosive run game in the NFL a season ago. RJ should change that immediately. Plus, he used to play quarterback, so Bo Nix can catch passes from him or Cortland Sutton now. The Chiefs selected defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott, who some thought was a reach. I'll agree because I'm sick of Steve Spags doing whatever the hell he wants on defense. The Raiders drafted wide receiver Jack Betch and the Chargers landed receiver Trey Harris. Jack Betch pleased all the coaches and scouts at the Senior Bowl. Betch is coming off a 1,000-yard season, had just 1 dropped pass last year, and I think becomes Geno Smith's most reliable target quickly because he can play wide and in the slot. The Raiders added 2 more receivers in rounds 4 and 6, Dante Thornton Jr. from Tennessee and Tommy Mellott from Montana State. Throwing Besh in with Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker creates a quietly very stable receiving trio in my opinion. Trey Harris was catching bombs from Jackson Dart in Mississippi last season. He's a big dude at 6'3" and should give Justin Herbert a much more reliable set of hands than we've seen with old Quentin Johnston. Harris averaged 17.2 yards per reception last season, and if that translates to the NFL, LA gets a massive boost in a much needed area. I think Denver, LA, and Vegas had really nice second round picks. Now I do have to give LA and Vegas the edge for best named players. The Chargers found a dude named
Triquez Bridges, defensive back, Florida.
Vegas got Tonka Hemingway. I can only think of an 8-year-old drunk Ernest Hemingway playing with his favorite toy. Speaking of drunk, the Broncos signed undrafted free agent Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, blue and orange label. What, no alcoholics watching today? To round 3, Denver selected Illinois receiver Pat Bryant, who isn't the fastest guy. He didn't have 1,000 yards last year, but he has a
89th percentile dominator rating.
Whatever the hell that means. Dominator rating. Wait, that sounds like a metric Shannon Sharp uses to find women. Anyway, Bryant played for a bad Illinois team and was far and away the best player on that offense. He tied a school record with 10 touchdowns last season, and one of those was a 40-yard game winner against Rutgers. He had just one drop and 78 targets and is really a good blocker, something that's always going to appeal to Sean Payton, who rostered Lil Jordan Humphrey for 2 seasons because of his blocking ability. Lil Hump, Troy Franklin, even Cortland Sutton all had some bad drops last season. I think Bryant is the antithesis to that. A reliable receiver who's going to hang on to the fucking ball. In terms of value, it was probably a reach, to be honest. Lance Zierlein from the NFL graded Bryant out as a 6th rounder. Denver took him in the top half of the 3rd round. If he's good though, and this applies to every player in the draft, who cares where your team selected them?
It's not even really 50-50 balls when it comes to me. It's more 90 to 10. So really just to play bully ball. You know, I like to be on the DB all game long. Don't never give them a break. So really just, helping in that run game shows what kind of player I am. I love to put DBs in the dirt.
Bully ball and putting DBs in the dirt? That's what excites me. It excites me. Right here, in my football junk. It gets me going!
The Los Angeles Chargers select Jamari Caldwell, D-tackle, Oregon.
He's great against the run, which should help a Chargers defense that was very middle of the road in that department.
The big man can move.
He's a monster at 333 pounds with an even bigger heart, as he paused his football career in 2020 to help his mom with her catering business. That's cool. And by help, I mean eat half the food to keep his 333-pound frame in check. Nearly put her out of business, to be honest. The Raiders made 3 picks in the 3rd, adding corner Darian Porter, guard Caleb Rogers, and tackle Charles Grant. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know much about a 3rd-round offensive lineman. I've got too much respect for myself to waste my brain space on linemen. But I think they provide nice depth and insurance if Colton Miller and the Raiders don't get a new deal worked out. Now, Porter was one of Mina Kimes' favorite mid-round picks.
And it's a position that the Raiders needed. Cornerback, couldn't love this fit more for both the team and the player.
Mina's one of my favorite football talkers on earth, which makes me sad because I want her to be so fucking wrong. I want her words to come back to haunt her. Chiefs then drafted edge rusher Ashton Gelati.
Dreams are my speciality.
He was listed as one of ESPN's best sleeper players before the draft. His 2023 season was better than 2024, but KC has been searching for some edge depth for a while, and I hope they still feel like they need help after this Gelati melts in the blazing flames of hell in which every Chiefs player is molded. No offense, Ashton, it's not personal, but I hope you fucking suck the life out of that entire godforsaken organization. And then, damn it, the Chargers got a sleeper too.
Oronde Gadsden II, tight end, Syracuse.
LA certainly needed a tight end, and they're banking on this 5th-round sleeper from Syracuse to help. He's the school's most prolific pass-catching tight end. And had he not been injured in 2023, he may have been drafted earlier. I think this could be the Chargers' best late-round pick. Anytime the Chiefs select a receiver, we shit our collective pants. And our collective pants have been keeping laundromats in business for over a decade now. Their most impactful late-round pick could very well be Utah State receiver Jalen Royals. I'd be reluctant to draft a chief receiver with jail already in his name, but whatever. And as much as I love the name Tonka Hemingway, the other defensive tackle for the Raiders, J.J. Pagues.
One of my just favorite players to study is Pagues from Ole Miss. Pagues
had a better run-stopping grade and can help the Raiders, who were nearly identically pedestrian against the run, to the Chargers. Now, my guys over at Check the Mic also had Alabama edge rusher Q Robinson, a fifth-year senior, as a sleeper.
Sleeper, Q Robinson from Alabama.
We have the same sleeper. Great.
You have him as your sleeper as well?
Yeah.
God damn it.
As a Broncos fan, I love this pick. Robinson was a special teamer for the Tide before his 5th year, but last season started 5 games, notched 4 sacks with 7 tackles for a loss before going down with an elbow injury. Robinson is definitely going to contribute on special teams early on, given the depth Denver has at edge already, but I think he can eventually become a designated pass rusher. Ton of upside here. The Broncos were the only team with the balls to draft a punter, and they found their Riley Dixon replacement with Australian-born punter mate Jeremy Crawshaw from Florida. Anyway, Australia's a lot like a bigger Florida in a lot of ways, so I'm guessing he felt right at home there and was partially the reason he was able to drop 25 punts inside the 20-yard line a year ago. Honestly, one of the more intriguing flyers in this draft Denver spent with their final pick on a basketball player who played 1 year of college football. Utah tight end Caleb Lawner caught 4 passes in his only college season, and all 4 of them went for touchdowns. That is perfect efficiency. And if he does that in the red zone, all against the Chiefs, I will be a complete man. He's the Randy Moss of season-long stats. In all honesty, I think every AFC West team had a nice draft. I'd actually probably give the Chargers and the Raiders the top 2 grades. Kansas City, allegedly, again, 6th best overall in value picks. Denver, 3rd worst in value. But that's simply because RJ Harvey and Pat Bryant were deemed reaches.
Get your Kool-Aid ready, because this brother is bringing the juice.
I've been comping AFC West drafts for over a decade now, and this is the first time all 4 feel pretty good. Usually at least one team looks like they didn't do the job. The Broncos should have the clear-cut best defense in the division. The Chargers and Raiders probably upgraded their offenses the most significantly. And Kansas City, well, they nailed the, go fuck yourself picks, you dumb idiots. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. You gotta subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, YouTube literally sends very shady men to my door to threaten me and my family. They come from my family.